go diving in a cave. One of the staged cylinders, consuming faster than expected. He didn't tell his companions. Quietly switched to the back main gas cylinder in advance. Continued to move forward with the team. But this was just the beginning of the tragedy. This is the Lufrog for today's logging class. Punch Cave. Dong Mai event. August 23, 2003. Three friends gathered in Lubaduquan Springs, Missouri. The entrance to the cave school. 50-year-old diving enthusiast Steven Vera is with his partner Ron. Shirley and John Davis does the final equipment inspection together. This expedition has been planned for a long time. They are full of expectations. Ready to go deep underground. The famous and mysterious Great Room. Everyone wears a professional submarine on their gear bag. Water qualification certificate to prove that they fit this difficult cave. Stringent entry requirements for diving. Lubaduquan Cave is not for beginners. Its winding passages penetrate deep into the ground. The large room is located at the entrance, about 427 meters away. Depth up to 50 meters. This is a real serious dive. They need precise planning, the right equipment, and extensive experience. The three friends carefully plan the entire itinerary. They will use special breaths designed for the front of them. Mixed gas. Enter the cave, crossing underwater passages with the help of underwater thrusters. Arrive at the Great Room, admire the hidden organs, and then safely return to the surface. The entire dive will need to stay in multiple stages to gradually adapt to changes in pressure. This process is called decompression. Steven, Ron, and John put on their gear step by step. Everybody's dressed up for dry diving to withstand cold water of about 10 degrees Celsius. It's different from a normal wetsuit. However, the submersible water suits keep divers dry. Only the face is exposed to water. Under the dryer, they were dressed warmly. Inner layer. To maintain body temperature during long dives, their equipment is sophisticated and professional, designed for cave exploration. Each person carries two special mixers, oxygen, but the main cylinder killed. It also carries two-stage cylinders. One of them has a special mixer. The other one is negative air. These extra cylinders, it will be replaced according to different depths and stages. Guards who ensure breathing gas at each stage. The most exciting equipment is underwater thrusters. This handheld device pulls the diver forward. This saves energy and air. This is also Steven. The device was used for the first time in a dive, and he was looking forward to it. It's a novel underwater experience. Three people enter the water. The water ripples first. Then calm is restored. The natural spring water at the entrance of the cave is crystal clear, reflecting the blue sky. But they do. This clarity won't last long. Once inside the cave, bottom sediment agitation. Visibility is likely to plummet to zero. Their plan is very rigorous. First, use a negative oxygen cylinder, where the grease becomes the drop point. This place is located 107 meters from the entrance of the cave. The depth is 15 meters. At this important juncture, the cave terrain plummets. It plummets from 15 meters to 41 meters. Access to a lower tunnel system. They're going to put oxygen tanks here. Save for return travel. Then they will switch to the main cylinder. Start the thrusters. Enter the lower level passage called Crisis Australia Avenue. Continue for about 335 meters. Arrive at the Great Room. The average depth of this passage is 46 meters. Small space. Multiple clearance is only 1.4 meters. The three quietly dived underwater. Proceed along a fixed guide rope. This safety rope goes from the entrance of the hole. The cave area at 23 meters begins. Is the key route to and from the cave, and a life infra when visibility deteriorates. They start the propellant gentle wing. During the call, the three easily cross the upper passage. Bright underwater light illuminates ahead. It's all bizarre limestone structures on the cave walls. These features have been eroded by currents for thousands of years. It's an alien world-like spectacle. After traveling about 107 meters at a depth of 14 meters, arrival handicap. As planned, each person is at a depth of 21 meters. Carefully placed a gas cylinder for return decompression. Then the three people continue to dive. Enter the lower level of Waikea Avenue. Channel further expansion. Sometimes the ceiling is so low that you have to keep your head down. Everywhere the lights go, there are all kinds of strange stones. Occasionally see to adapt to the dark environment of cave creatures. However, Ron and John were unaware of this. Now Steven had his first problem. His stage airflow is draining faster than expected. This could be because he used propellant for the first time. Requires additional air conditioning. Maybe there is a problem with the device itself. Did not tell the companion. Steven switched to the main screen on the back in advance, but still continued to move forward with the team. Finally, they reached the great room. Its vast space, in sharp contrast to the previous narrow passage. Even their flashlights can't illuminate the entire boundary of the cave. The three of them stopped briefly. Appreciate this mysterious brother incident containing hostages. After a brief exploration, three people consider the remaining air and return travel time. Gestures to each other to start the return journey. As they began their journey back down Microgas Avenue, Steven checked his cylinder pressure gauge. The hands show only 500 pounds per square inch left. Umbrella pressure. This is far below the air reserves that should be available at this stage. Normal, full diving gas cylinder, usually even with a pressure of about 3,000 psi. About 207 pieces. This means he has consumed nearly 85% of his gas volume. Aware of the situation, seriously, Steven immediately gestured to Ron. Shows the reading of the pressure gauge. Ron responded immediately. Hand him a spare respirator. This is a safety device attached to a long hose, designed for emergency air sharing. This decisive move demonstrates an experienced dynamic front circle, standardized operations in emergency situations. Thereafter, Steven goes through Ron's backup respirator. Keep breathing. Two people walk side by side. However, new problems ensued. Steven began to have difficulty controlling his welfare and the ability to maintain a constant depth underwater. He sometimes rises too high. Sometimes it sinks too deep, cause difficulty in travel. John doesn't realize it. The problems that are happening in the back still keep going. Despite the difficulties, Steven and Ron still reach the lower passage. The depth of the finish line is 41 meters and begins to rise along the fall almost when they rose to a depth of about 30 meters. Steven's welfare control problems are getting worse. He rose faster than Ron. Finally, beyond that, the limit of the long hose that connects him to Ron. The long respirator was yanked out of his mouth. In dim water, Steven then dived back to Ron. Re-encapsulate the spare respirator. After taking a few breaths, he gestured okay to Ron. At the same time, Ron tried to find the original main oviduct respirator, the organ that was torn apart in pulling. However, when he looked up again to find Steven, found that the other party had disappeared. Water disturbance causes sediment at the bottom of the cave to rise. Seriously reduced visibility. Ron continues to rise. Go to the decompression stop at 21 meters, where they put the cylinders earlier. John has now retrieved his gas cylinder and keep going, but Steven's cylinder is still in place, side by side with Ron's. No sign of Steven. With growing unease, Ron retrieves his stress reducer review. Continue towards the entrance. Hope Steven. Maybe he has been contacted. Another group of divers we met earlier in the tunnel. When Ron surfaced, he immediately reported Steven's disappearance to the ground team. The rescue operation began rapidly. Professional divers re-enter the cave, and eventually in the area where Ron was last seen, Steven's body was found. He's floating near the ceiling. All three cylinders are exhausted and his dry diving charm. The exhaust method is completely turned off. This crucial detail, that's the direct cause of his out-of-control buoyancy. This was a day full of excitement and anticipation. It ended in tragedy. Subsequent analysis reveal how a chain of small problems can add up to disaster. Steven's respirator may be set for allergies, causing air to leak unnoticed. The sound of the thrusters, masking the sound of air leaks, but the exhaust valve of the diving talisman is closed, so that he can't adjust the buoyancy. And here's the thing. The lack of a crisis situation between the three. Adequate communication of the situation. This unfortunate event. It's all about the unforgiving nature of underwater caving. Even experienced in such an environment, it is also necessary to remain vigilant at all times. Certified diver? What happened to Steven reminds us. Adhere to strict safety regulations. Maintain clear communication. Familiar with equipment. And decisively terminate the task when encountering problems is the key to surviving in such extreme environments. That's the end of today's video. See you next time.